Training my ears especially, that's the big, like that was a big game changer for me. You have me train my ears and all that stuff, so listen out what's like missing and what can be added, or like filling anything that feels empty.
Prior to joining the Artist Launchpad program, what were like the main things you were struggling with the artist project and like production?
I was mainly struggling with like, honestly, I would just stop myself from producing a lot and just kind of felt stuck in a lot of aspects, basically. And I think I was just more lost in like not knowing how to complete a song.
Kind of like just the consistency and just like staying on track and figuring out what the next best thing to focus on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
pretty much.
And was there anything in particular of like the coaching we did that you found most useful? Like, was there anything that you like liked the most about it?
I think just implementing everything that like basically we went over and all that stuff, like just how to work with your bottlenecks and gathering all like the data and stuff, just so how to make your workflow easier and faster.
Yeah, and I'd say that you're definitely one of the few people that moved really fast in this program because like at the start you were kind of lacking in a little bit of like the execution department and like just like um the fullness of some things, but it was only in a couple of weeks that you got rid of all those bottlenecks and like you were pretty much like, my reaction to some of your tracks initially were like, and then towards the end it was like, complete gurn face, like fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so big jump very quickly, so it was great. And
Thank
so
you, thank
as
you.
as a result of everything we went through, like what do you feel like you got the most out of it? Like what was the main things you felt like you got out of it?
I think the main point I got out of it was like bettering my quality in tracks and like bettering my quality in time as well. Like as I'm finishing that track and all that stuff, and just like training my ears especially. That's the big, like that was a big game changer for me. You have me train my ears and all that stuff to listen out what's like missing and what can be added, or like just anywhere, or like filling anything that feels empty and all that.
Yeah, 100%. It's a never ending learning journey on that part with like training your ears, but I think that's why getting a shit ton of feedback on a consistent basis to like the level we were doing to like let
Yeah.
you figure out what's missing from yours versus the reference. I think it's like just levels you up overall because you start to, like you're saying, like you start to identify things that you didn't even know were there in the first place with it, when it comes to like training
Yeah.
your ears. Like you didn't even realize that that frequency was a certain thing, or like that you could have layered that more. It's only
Yeah.
until somebody points it out that you're like, oh shit, like your whole perspective changes.
Literally. That's literally exactly what happened.
Yeah, and so where do you feel like you'd be right now if you hadn't originally joined the program and you'd still be doing your own thing?
I think I would for sure catch myself like still slacking and like kind of procrastinating on tracks, like not finishing everything. And I think my ears wouldn't, well, I feel like at a certain point, yeah, I would start learning more, but just still like struggling in a lot of places, like within like empty or like fullness. I mean, that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And so one last question as well. If there's anyone that's watching this video and is on the fence about jumping on a discovery session and checking out any of the programs, what would you say to them?
I would say like definitely keep an open mind and just shoot for it, because you never know what you're gonna learn and all that stuff. And even if you feel like you know everything, I feel like just even learning more is pretty much always gonna be there. So getting the most of what you can and with the tools that you have in front of you and all that stuff, like it's key. I think it's
100%.
key.
Cool.